Welcome to Little Hidden Gem, where passion, creativity, and community shine. Today we are headed to Installation Brooklyn in Bed Stuy to meet with Margot. She is really the heart and soul of the store, with so many stories and insights to share, including one about a former employee who is now a world-famous musician. Let's go uncover this gem.
I love when people come in and show me what they got.
Yes.
It happens a lot, but I love it every time.
And I have a lot from you.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to Installation Brooklyn.
And what is your name?
Margot Hughes. I am the owner, buyer, and we've been here for 12 years.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting. The whole time here. And why did you pick this location?
Well, I actually own the building, so it was the most convenient location.
Oh, that's really cool. And so tell me a little bit about your business, about your store.
Well, I actually came up with the name Installation Brooklyn before I even knew what I was going to sell. I wanted to do something sustainable. That was the main objective, is whatever I was going to sell was going to be sustainable. Originally I thought I might do like products, like cleaning products and, just having a more natural way of living, but I just love fashion, and I've always loved fashion. So I thought, you know what, this is my store, this is my chance to choose anything I want in the world. I'm gonna do fashion.
I love that. So tell me a little bit. It sounds like there's something there with fashion. What's your background?
Actually, I just have a very visual memory, so I just almost remember everything that has ever affected me fashion-wise, from like watching Laugh-In when I was a tiny child in the mod 60s, and then watching old movies, and just living through the 70s, 80s, the whole, what's it called, the British invasion.
Oh, wow, okay.
So like everything was like coming from England, Crowded House, and Berlin, and all these kind of alternative punkish bands. I love The Cure, so I kind of went through a lot of like all of these genres I kind of visited. So my first fashion foray was probably when I was a preteen wearing 70s clothes, and then by the 80s I was really into the whole new wave with all the colors, and in early high school, and then I think when I started college I got into the punk movement. So a lot of like fishnet stockings and quilted, little kilts and crop jackets, and but I just was dabbling more with fashion. So for years I've been collaborating with Bridge Street Corporation, which conveniently is just diagonally across the street. But basically they have like a youth work program, and we teach them, how to work, how to be on time, what is expected of you in a job. And I've found some amazing talent. The young ladies I have working with me right now, it's also young ladies and men too. They can come and they work 15 hours each a week.
Wow, look at that.
There was this amazing Nigerian photographer came by, and she borrowed some clothes for a photo shoot. And then she showed me the photo shoot, amazing pictures. And she said the model loved the clothes and she wanted to come by. Model turned out to be Dochi.
Get out.
And at the time she was working at Zara. So she kept coming by and looking at clothes and stuff. And I asked her where she worked, and she said Zara. And I was like, you have to work here. And she was just like, okay. And she quit the job and she came and she worked here.
Oh, I love that.
And we were having a ball. She was doing a lot of styling, a lot of modeling. There's pictures on our social media of her. She was like a zero back then. And she's just a lovely girl. Lovely. We had so much fun. She called me Miss Margot.
Oh, I love that.
And she only left because of the pandemic.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah, I had a lot of girls from that same program. She was in that program.
Okay.
And she was working through that program.
Oh my God.
And all the mothers called them home. Wow. So I had my dream team, and then all the moms were like, you've got to come home to Connecticut. You've got to come home to, Dochi lived in Atlanta. Her mother lived in, I think, Atlanta, Georgia. And then right after that, she summarily had to leave because she was creating her career.
Right.
I mean, this is hearsay, but this is what she told me, that, her mother was like, okay, wait a minute, you can't go out all the time. And she's just like, she ended up going to Florida and just like killing it, you know. And older people were like, we're gonna die, but she was 20, this was her moment, and she knew it was her moment. And so she just like was creating. She even flew back here, and the store was not open at the time. We shuttered for a little while, and I just gave her the keys to the store, and she took anything she wanted for her first music video. And so she took a bunch of clothes and used it for the music video.
Oh, that is so cool. So you helped her out for her first video.
And she still texts me every time she comes to town. She's like, I'm gonna try to come to the store. She hasn't yet made it, but I'm still waiting.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, she's
That's
a
so
sweetheart,
cool.
I went to this really cool industrial art school in Chicago, so UIC, and
Shout out.
and then I moved to New York and I got into hip hop.
Okay.
So I just, and then
Naturally, right?
Well, yeah, I was an art director and I worked in film and television. So I did all the early hip hop videos as an art director.
Okay. Can
And
you name
so-
one? Can you share one of your favorite ones, or just one that you've done?
I'm more the artist, Jay-Z and Eve. I did Mary J. Blige's first video,
Wow.
which was Real Love.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that was
Wow.
great. I sat in her auntie's kitchen in Queens while she was getting her hair rolled up by, at the kitchen table, the Formica kitchen table.
Wow. Okay.
And so I just really was living that sort of, I was fully immersed in it. Like I was into the fashion, I was into the culture, and, every night I was out at clubs, and industry parties and all that stuff. And then as I got a little older, I moved into sort of that Sex and the City, your blacks have to match. I started working in commercials, and it was more of an elegant, not that hip hop's not elegant, but it was more,
It's a different take on elegance.
yeah. And I
perhaps.
lived in Olita. So I was kind of living more of that sort of Nolita lifestyle. And then I moved to Brooklyn.
Oh wow. So
and
what?
started raising a family. This is what we call our shoulder accommodating area. We try not to get too gender specific. I think anything that would look great on someone with maybe broader shoulders is kind of in this area. So it could be very masculine pieces, but there's also pieces that maybe are traditionally feminine, mixed in. I don't know if that's traditionally feminine, but we just have a wide range of pieces that would look great on a variety of different people.
You know what's funny? I actually buy most of my pieces from that section.
You do,
Yeah, and I had no idea. I mean, I did sense that it was more masculine leaning, or but that's actually my favorite area in the store. Gotcha. So at your store, would you say you've covered all the eras? Like, tell us a little bit about your merchandise and how you select your pieces, and really what you're trying to represent with your store.
I say I worship all the fashion gods. So,
Love that.
I like a little grunge, I like a little hip hop, I like everything from every era, but I try to choose the best pieces. And I try to work with the silhouettes that are happening now and the color palettes that are in season at the moment. So I want it to feel very contemporary at the same time as not excluding pieces just because they're not trending.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
I'm very, like this whole summer I was focused, for this summer coming up, the season I buy a season ahead, very focused on linens and cottons and the colors that are trending, and the silhouettes, of course.
Yeah.
And then I also look at all the runway shows, and I find who their muses are. You can kind of start to see who they're, what they're going with. Like Chloe's very 70s, and so then I start to buy the pieces that they are recreating. I buy the original pieces if I can find them. Ideally, couture if you can find them. But but I also buy the just the regular pret-a-porter, everyday pieces that are inspiring them.
Got it.
And so you can get those looks, but you can buy the pret-a-porter that of the 80s or the 70s that was, in the price point that was, more affordable. I think that sometimes people think that you have to spend a fortune on fashion.
Yep.
And I know everyone wants to look great, but I think there's better ways to spend your money than, on couture all the time. I'm not mad at couture, but it's not really price point for everyone. We do have some of it spattered about in the store, but the price point is definitely less, because it's secondhand, and
which we appreciate.
Yeah, but you can find the looks and the cuts and the prints that maybe the designers were inspired by.
So off camera, we've talked about some of your great stories of, I guess, folks who are going to Fashion Week coming to your store to, look for items. Do you have any stories you want to share with us from there?
I used to work with this amazing stylist, Dapper Africa, who has since transitioned, but he was wonderful. He was kind of my muse, and he taught me a lot about fashion. So he'd come by and he said he was going to do a photo shoot, and I really didn't hear from him for like a year.
Okay.
And in that time period, I was watching what he was doing, and I was buying clothes always with the idea of like couture, moving towards the higher end, more the couture cuts, and it really shaped the way I would shop. So originally I wasn't, when you first start thrifting, it's a skill. It's a skill you really have to hone. So I was buying like last year's Banana Republic or something, like I really didn't, I was a Brooklyn mom living in the mom circles, so I was very much, just, passing, I guess, fashion-wise. But as I started thinking in the couture terms, thinking about, getting back into the fashion mind and reading the magazines or reading the new prints, the new online magazines.
Yep.
I started buying. That's when I started getting into silhouettes and prints and stuff.
Wow, that is really cool. So tell me a little bit about some of your customers that you get. Probably a variety, but do you have a particular type of customer that you see coming over and over again to your store?
We get a lot of people who live in the community who when I designed it initially, I lived on Houston and Broadway, which is like the heart of Nolita. So I would be working long hours, but I would have a date that night. And as I was getting off the train, I would dart into a store and buy a cute little blouse for my date that night. And it would take 15 minutes, And then when I moved to this neighborhood, there wasn't a lot of good retail. It was just lower end retail. And I wanted to have a variety, and our store really encompasses the higher end and the lower, whatever price point you're at, we have the pieces for you. So that was one of my initial ideas, is that, kind of serving that 25 to 35 group. We do have teenagers, but really the more that where, you work long hours, and you just want to come and get the piece that you need. So a lot of that, as majority of mine are customers like that who come for special events, whether it's just a date or a barbecue or, but we also get people who are one woman came in, she was doing her book signing.
Wow.
So she bought 3 dresses because she was doing a whole book tour. And I had another woman who was invited to Sundance.
Oh gosh, wow.
So she didn't know anything about the Southwest and what to wear Southwest, what is Southwest chic, know? And so I had to prep her for, what it's like to, where you got her a nice fur coat and, the boots, and all that stuff. But I also got her black tie dress.
Okay.
So we were able to put together a whole thing on her budget. And, it's just great to be part of people's lives as they're, going through things that, I went through in my life, and it's great to revisit it through other people.
Yeah, I remember last time when I came to your store, there was a guy here that was looking for an outfit for a concert. Do you remember that guy? And you dressed him in the denim look, and he was completely lost, right? And he was just help me. So can you tell me a little bit about that experience, what that was like?
He was really lovely. I think he was going out with an ex, and he had bought tickets to their favorite concert. And he just hadn't really thought about clothing, maybe for the last 7 years or something at all. So we just kind of like updated his look. You know, we got him some dark denim and a really cool graphic tee and I don't even remember, a cool belt.
Yeah.
But we kind of just like put them all together for, oh, and the shoes too.
Yeah.
He didn't even have the right, he didn't have the new shoes. So we got him some cool boots and some, you know.
And a cane, right? Was it?
Oh, yeah,
wasn't
he
there a
wanted
cane
a
involved?
cane.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, because he had a back problem.
Oh.
So he wanted a cane. I also had a cane for him. So he got his whole look together from, you know, head to toe. I wish I'd taken a picture because it really came out really nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was really awesome.
So, but yeah, that's the type of thing, you know, and hopefully things worked out, you know. But I've also helped people like for their engagement party. I had a guy come and he was getting married, but it was going to be cold and it was an outdoor and he wanted like an overcoat and he bought that. And I see them now, him and his wife and the baby.
Oh my gosh.
You know, so it's really important for me to be part of my community.
Yeah.
And to support my community.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for talking to us today. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming.